Hi, hello everyone. My name is Marina Buzinnik, and today we are going to talk about the peculiarities of hiring tech talents in Spain. And today we have two guests, Luciano Pazos and Javier, Javier de la Morena, co-founders of NBC IT Recruitment. Hi, hello, how are you?
Hello, fine, and you?
Also fine, thank you. So let's start our interview. And to begin with, please tell us about yourself, your company, and your experience with hiring tech talents in Spain.
Perfect. Am I starting, Lucho, or you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I think he's better than me in introductions, but anyway, I'll take the challenge. So we are MBS IT Recruitment. We are obviously an agency specialized in recruiting IT technical profiles. As a company, we are almost 4 years old, but I mean, Lucho and myself, we have been working in IT recruitment for many years, like around 20 years of combined experience. And well, basically, we work in the IT and the fields. We mean developers, system administrators, digital marketers. I mean, it's a broad scope, but that's our specialization. And mainly, we work very strongly in the Spanish market because we are based in Barcelona, and that's the market we know best. But we have also worked in Portugal, not to the same extent, but we have worked quite a bit there. And well, very punctually, like in some other countries. But let's say that the best added value we can offer is in the Spanish market by far, and then in the Portuguese market too. What else, Lucho? What else you want to add?
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. It's a good introduction.
Very good. So
Okay.
that would be what I mean.
Thanks a lot. So you have a lot of experience in IT market, and compared with other European countries or the United States, what are the peculiarities of the Spanish IT market? What are some of the advantages of hiring in this region?
Mm-hmm. I would say that the main one is cost. Is more efficient maybe than hiring in other markets. Although after the pandemic and the remote working, things are changing, and now is easier to find people here who is working for an American company, for instance. So salaries are rising steadily. But anyway, I would say that it's cheaper to hire here than in neighbor countries, maybe not Portugal, although the things are pretty much the same. We can discuss about that later, but France, Italy, the UK is cheaper. But anyway, even though it's cheaper, I think that the main advantage is that there are very good talent here in Spain. You know, there are very good universities and very good companies to work for. And it's a mix of local talent, I would say, strong engineers raised and born here in Spain. And in Spain is a very attractive market for people coming from anywhere in Europe. So people either coming for the sun or anything else, a lot of engineers are coming here, so you can get a very good talent, local or people living here in Spain.
Yeah,
and
you can attract people from abroad. I mean, if you have an opening here in Spain and you need someone with a specific talent that is very common in, I don't know, in Norway, it's very likely that they feel attracted by the option of working from here, mostly because of the weather and well, the cultural richness we have here. Sorry for the interruption.
No, not at all. And as the last point, I would say that Spain is a melting pot of cultures, you know, and we like to think that we have the best from the north of Europe and the south of Europe and even Latin America. meaning that if you are based here in Spain, you can deal with people from the north of Europe. We are not Germans, we are not Norwegians, but we can understand them maybe better than other countries more in the south. And we can also understand good people from north of Africa or Latin America or other regions. So I guess we are in the right spot to be able to deal with a lot of people from all around the world, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like a perfect combination.
Yeah, I also wanted to add that the cost efficiency is for two main reasons. It's not only that salaries here are normally lower than in other Western European countries, but also the labor costs for the companies. So I would say that except for Portugal, because they are doing this, they're making it attractive for digital nomads. So taxes are getting lower there. But for the rest, I think we are probably the cheapest Western European country in terms of labor costs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Understood. Thank you. That explains a lot. Which IT industries do most developers work in, and what are the most popular tech stacks, if you can say so?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would say that it's different. I mean, Spain has very different regions. Although I mean, we have obviously a shared culture. But for example, in Barcelona, where we are based, there are more startups. There are more let's say starting small companies. And in Madrid, for example, which is the capital, you have bigger corporations like banks, like let's say larger companies, and so it's a bit different. But in general, if we have to say an industry that hires the most developers, it's probably consultancy. I mean, software factories, just for obvious reasons. I mean, they need tens or hundreds of developers, so that would be the biggest employer in general terms. And then it's not. I want to clarify, it's not only Barcelona, Madrid. Of course, there are many regions in Spain where IT is needed. And there are some growing regions, like, for example, Malaga is becoming also a digital hub. Bilbao is getting also bigger. Levante, I mean, Valencia. There are several regions that are in big need of IT professionals, and they're growing. And also, yeah, regarding the stack you asked for, maybe Lucho, if you, we are kind of specialized, okay? We both work in very different profiles, but it's true that Lucho is more specialized in software and more specialized in systems, DevOps, and that kind of role. So if you want Lucho to talk about the
Yeah, sure. Regarding stacks, let's say backend and frontend, we have both. In backend, Java is, I would say, is king, maybe, although .NET is right behind it. It depends if it's a new enterprise, a startup, or a big corporation. And also Python, even though it's an old language, is getting very popular now because of data and because of AI. A lot of Python frameworks are used to develop natural language models and all those kind of things. So it's very hot. Frontend has always been very interesting. Even every day there is a new JavaScript framework. But JavaScript as a language, TypeScript are very in demand. And also in systems, I would answer for Javi, anything Kubernetes, very cloud-based things, AWS, Azure. Yeah, that would be mainly, those are the main stacks.
Infrastructure as code as a general, let's say, subject. But yeah, those are the most demanded technical stack here in Spain, probably.
Mm-hmm. Okay, understood. Understood. Thanks a lot. And I have a tricky question.
Okay, go
Can
ahead.
you tell us what are the most common stereotypes that international companies have about Spanish developers and address them?
Well, maybe you can help us here. Which stereotypes do you have? Because we have our own vision, and you, as a foreigner, maybe you can tell us what do you think about, and then we address your
Uh,
your concerns.
Okay, so the most common one that I've heard that Spanish developers are not that good with English, and a lot of them are like they're having A1, A2. But I know that it's not true, of course, but there is a stereotype.
Well, actually, it is true. I mean,
That's the problem. Yeah.
that's the problem. Now, it's getting much better, especially with younger generations. And if you compare us to other countries like Portugal, we are very behind, because in Portugal they have had a better education regarding English. If you compare us to with Italy or France, I would say that we are pretty much the same. We have the same level. But yeah, that is true. I mean, it's one of the main problems that we have here, if you want to say that. Technical English is not a problem normally for engineers. I mean, they're very used to deal with documentation and understanding English. But if you put them in a meeting, some of them they may struggle a little bit. But as I said, things are changing little by little, and we are getting better. But yeah, that is true. We have
Mhm.
a problem there.
Okay, and one more I've heard of that I'm sure is not true, that you have a lot of like public holidays, and usually you expect a lot of days off, vacations per year. What is this usual social package, and how many
That's a
days?
good one. That's a good one because there is that image. I mean, and it's like, okay, you have a lot of bank holidays in there, but if you go objective, I mean, if you get the official data, it's not like that. I mean, there are several countries within the European Union who have more public holidays than we do. But I would say that the image has some reality behind it, because we have what we call, I mean, people struggle to understand this concept, but we have what we call a puente, which is literally bridge. Is that whenever, let's say that Tuesday is a public holiday, then we ask for Monday off, then so we have like 4 days off in a row. So that's something that people are not used to, and it's like, okay, you have a lot of public holidays. Well, not technically. I mean, we're not the country where we have the most public holidays, but then yeah, of course. I mean, we like to take opportunity to get some days off. Like as we always say, we like to work hard, but also party hard, because we like to have fun. So there's some reality behind it, but not
Yeah.
objectively. Okay.
Uh-huh. Understood. Understood. Thank you. And what is like the average amount of vacation days per year in Spain?
If you talk about vacation, the legal thing is 23
Mhm.
days a year of
Working
vacation.
days?
Working days, exactly. And then
Mhm.
some companies offer some other days off, like Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve or the day of your birthday. Some companies do, some others don't. And then we have the bank holidays that I would say that in Spain, it changes a bit, but I would say that it's around 14 days off. But
Mhm.
for example, Labor Day, that is May the 1st, it's a bank holiday. So
Everywhere, I think in
uh,
Europe. Yes.
those kind of holidays is, I would say that is 14 or 15. We have the national ones, we have the local ones that they vary depending on the region you are in. And sometimes also city ones, you know, we have city, region, and then the national ones. If you take them all together, I would say there is 14 or so. So
Mhm.
40 days off, pretty much, I would say. I want to address, Javi is right about the puente, but if you take the puente, then the Monday, you take it from your holidays normally. So
Yeah, of course. That's what
you are not getting an extra day. You are just getting a day of your holidays and you put it there because then you get a very long weekend.
Then it's not that bad, actually.
No, but if you compare with Germany, that they have the, you know, they have much more holidays than we have, you know, and you wouldn't say so maybe in the beginning.
Yeah, that's why I say that there is a stereotype like this, but
Yeah.
I think that it is not like that, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot. And also wanted to ask which IT professionals are the most in demand in Spain, like nowadays?
I would say that
For example. Okay.
yeah, it's changing almost in real time. You know, there are trends and they go and die. And nowadays, for example, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, React was the last Coke in the desert, you know. And right now, I wouldn't say that it's very on demand, front end in general. Right now, I would say that data is getting very important. Not data analysts that they were in demand in the past, but now engineers and scientists mainly. So taking advantage of big amount of data is something that the companies are very focused on. And also AI is starting. I wouldn't say there is a lot on demand, but you can see that there are more and more companies are looking for those profiles. And how you can say infrastructure is very on demand right now. DevOps.
Especially, everything related with automation, like DevOps, SRE,
Cloud.
anything related with cloud, especially AWS, also Azure, also Google Cloud Platform. All these kind of profiles are well in demand. Also, Lucho was mentioning React, but also a profile that was in very high demand like 2-3 years ago, which was a security analyst. Everything related with cybersecurity is not that in demand right now, probably because consultancy companies have all the projects, and no, smaller companies are not hiring people specifically for cybersecurity. But yeah, those are the most demanding ones.
Understood. So pretty much like everywhere around the world now, so almost the same trends. Thank you. And also wanted to ask you about the interview process for a tech job. How many rounds are there? Do you usually give a tech task, like tech assignment for candidates, or like is this any cultural fit check or maybe something else?
Yeah, I would. It depends on the client, but I would say that the normal theme would be having 2 or 3 interviews with HR, of course, cultural fit. Normally in the beginning, but it's not necessary that it's in the beginning. There will be a technical interview for sure. Long tests or assignments that you have to fill in 1 week or something like that is something that is not that popular anymore. So companies, what are they doing is doing pair programming or code reviews or a small tech challenge, code challenge, but something that you can do online maybe in 20 minutes or something like that, because the market is very competitive and there are a few candidates and more offers. And then if you make an assignment 3-4 days, they are not going to make it. Most people won't make it. So companies are adapting to that. And normally there is one last interview. Now the recruitment processes are online mainly. The last step would be going to the actual office if it's hybrid, or because you need to see, well, you don't need to see, but it's good that you meet with the people you are going to work with and see the premises and you know the location and all these kind of things. So the last check, I would say, is meeting real people in real life. I would say that is the standard process. Obviously, there are companies making 7 or more interviews. It's not the normal thing, and sometimes it's easier. What is true that companies are making the process shorter, 1-2 weeks, because if they take more, they are going to lose the best candidates for sure.
Yeah, and also we normally recommend our clients to make sure that candidates are engaged prior to asking them for these challenges, tests, code reviews, so that they feel that they know the company, they know the project, they're interested. Then they're way more likely to take a challenge if needed than if you ask them in advance, like, okay, maybe we can meet, but first take this test. And that normally doesn't work.
I agree. I agree with you. And you mentioned like office or hybrid. What is more common like today in 2024 in Spain? Working from home, online?
I would say that hybrid is taking over again. Remote was king 2 years ago, 3 years ago, because of the circumstances. I mean, there was no other way to do it. And I wouldn't say that this. I would say that Spain is not taking. Spanish companies are not taking the hard way, coming back to the office 5 days a week yet. Let's see what it's going to happen. But the more usual thing would be going to the office 2 days a week. Some companies are doing less, maybe 1 day a week, but it would be the normal stuff right now.
Yeah, and we're even seeing that it was surprising for us at first, but some candidates are telling us, listen, if it's 100% remote, I don't like it. I prefer to go to the office from time to time. I prefer to meet my colleagues there. So it's becoming popular from both sides, let's say.
Maybe because we are Spaniards, and another stereotypes is that we like social interaction and being with people. But yeah, I would say that most people prefer 100% remote working. But yeah, some people like to go to the office as well.
And I can completely understand you. I miss my office very much. For now on, we are because like our office was in Kiev, and as you can imagine, now we are all working remote, and a lot of my colleagues are really missing our office, at least being able to come there once or twice per week. So that is a nice option when you have an office. And you mentioned that now the interviewing process is getting shorter, like 2-3 weeks. But in general, right, from receiving a vacancy, how long usually it takes to fill the position?
Well, it depends on many factors, but let's say from our side, I mean, since we get the opening until we send, let's say, the final set of candidates, which is normally short. I mean, some companies ask you for 3 candidates, but the most common thing is having 1, 2, depending on how difficult the profile is, how scarce it is in the market. But I would say it's like a couple of weeks for us to find the right candidates for that role. But then obviously to close the project, it also depends on the client side, like, okay, how available they are for the interviews, how swift they are, like setting up the meetings. It also depends on the availability of the candidate, of course. And well, I would say it depends on many factors, but if you want to, I would say a couple of weeks from our side, and then you should count obviously on the notice period from the client before he or she starts he joins the company. There are many factors, but if we say only about how long it takes for us to find the right candidates, I would say like a couple of weeks average. I mean, it can take 1 week if things go very well. It can take 3 weeks if it's more complex, but I would say that's the average, right, Lucho?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would like to add that notice period in Spain is on average 2 or 3 weeks.
Correct.
That is something to take into consideration, because in Germany, for instance, or France is 2-3 months. Yeah. And then, okay, even if the process is taking 1 month, let's say, but if you add only 2 weeks in the end, it's 1.5 months. And you have the person working in your company, and you don't have to wait maybe 2 or 3 months, and that's also an advantage for sure.
Yeah, that is definitely an advantage.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, if you are at C-level, then it takes longer. You have more notice period, maybe 1-2 months. But a normal software developer, I would say that they have 2-3 weeks notice period. It depends on the company, because it depends on the collective agreement mainly. But you can leave in 2 weeks if you want to.
Yeah, that is definitely an advantage, I would say, comparable with other European countries. And we already touched the topic of salaries in Spain, but maybe you have some rough numbers, like how do salaries in Spain compare to other countries in the region or globally?
Yeah, yeah.
These numbers.
I'll take that one because I'm the
Javi
Excel
is-
freak in this. I want to have the data, and I was getting some internal and external information to address that. Now, we can tell you that, as we said, from Western in the Western countries, we are probably the cheapest ones, taking into account the salaries and the labor costs. But going into detail, I can tell you that I've compared Madrid, Barcelona, let's say Spain, with other important cities. Like, for example, in Amsterdam is around 40% more expensive in terms of average salaries. Okay, and we have contemplated very different IT profiles, always focusing in IT. Okay, Berlin, for example, Germany, it's like 33% more expensive. Dublin is almost 50% more expensive. Ireland. The UK is not the European Union anymore, but still we are comparing with it. It's almost 50% more expensive. Same as Paris, France, around 50%. So if we want to go cheaper, we should go to places like, for example, Hungary. You can see like 30 something percent lower salaries than in here. Then, I mean, the data says that Portugal is cheaper, not much, but around 10-15% cheaper than here. But in our experience, when you're talking about high level profiles, it's even more expensive. I mean, we have done different processes there, and we find that salaries there are 10-15%, even 20% higher than here. So well, that's the data we have. And for the rest, well, yeah, if you go to Poland, it's also cheaper, but not as cheaper as you might think. I mean, according to data, it's around 10% cheaper. So yeah, I would say we're very cheap in the European Union, considering everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
you need to take the information with a pinch of salt, because it's data that we collect in our own experience, and also we gather some external information. But sometimes we see profiles in which the salaries are not really corresponding, in our opinion, to the. But you take it as a whole, and it's the same company doing the research. So yeah, pretty much is accurate.
And just to have some picture.
Yeah,
of course.
exactly.
Thanks a lot, and that was really interesting. And we have already discussed a amount of vacation days and public holidays. And what are other social benefits that are typically offered to software developers in Spain? I mean, like, are they expected to be insured by the company and so on?
There is something here, Marina, that you are going to love. We have Fridays afternoon off here in Spain. We end up at 3 p.m. normally. It's something. I mean, it's not a social benefit, but it's something that you expect. And in Madrid and Barcelona, of course, you have that. And if you don't have that, then you have a problem getting people. Many companies as well. In summer, they have short schedule. I mean, we end up at 3 p.m. In July and August, because here is very hot, and working in the afternoon, it may, especially in August, it can be tricky, even though it's the normal holiday time. So many people are not working at that moment. But anyway, it's something that people expect. You refer to insurance. We are covered in health by the national security system for being here, for being a Spanish citizen or working
For
here.
paying taxes.
Yeah, exactly, for paying taxes. But many companies offer also a private insurance health for them, families. It depends on the company. What else? Some companies cover meals, kindergarten for if you have small children, transportation, something that is cool, gym. They give some allowance for the gym, some companies. If you are a remote worker, you have a small allowance, I would say 25, 35 euros a month to pay for the internet. I wouldn't say that is a social benefit because you are spending your electricity and internet for working. So, but you have that. And some companies, I wouldn't say all of them, they offer some budget for training. Being that training chosen for the company, some courses that they want you to do or chosen by yourself if it's something that you would like to improve. You have some allocated budget yearly, so you can do external courses, masters, certifications, all those kind of things.
Yeah.
I would say that roughly speaking, that would be the general package.
And what about the sick leaves? Is it limited, unlimited amount per year?
Javi, go ahead.
And it's well, you cannot limit that obviously because depending on the sickness you have, there's no limit to that. What might change is that some companies might cover the extra salary. Let's say for example, if you get the flu or whatever and you're sick for a week, what the general law says is that for the first 3 days you don't get paid, and from the 4th day on you get paid 70% of your salary. There are many companies that cover that difference. Let's say, okay, if you're sick, we pay those first 3 days in whole, and we pay the extra 30% for the rest of the days, so that you have 100% of your salary when you're sick. That depends on the company, but in general, it's the Estatuto de los Trabajadores, which is the general law for labor relationships here in Spain, specifies the amount of the salary you get. But obviously, there's no limit. I mean, unfortunately there are long-term diseases. I mean, you can get depression, whatever, and it takes long to recover. There's no limit to that. There's only check-in if you're okay, if you need more time, but there's no limit for that.
Yeah, I would say the IT companies, they are covering 100% for the sick
Many of
leaves.
them,
Most of them, I mean.
Yeah.
Understood. Thanks so much. Very interesting. Thank you for the information. Maybe there is something else that you think we should know about the hiring process in Spain, or anything else you would like to share?
Well, if there is something that we can advise is counting on experts, on professionals, because especially if you come new, I mean, it's not something that we plan, but as a company, most of our clients are foreign companies that want to establish new facilities here in Spain or want to hire people in Spain. So when you don't know the market, there are very, very different things that you should consider. So counting on someone who is professional will help you with the administration. We know how it works. I mean professionals in general, not only us, but we know we can advise you on labor costs. We can advise you on the, as we were talking about before, the perks that work here. I mean, as Lucho says, getting your Friday afternoon off or getting time off in the summer is not common, and here it's something that people expect. So if you're new, we can advise you, we can give you some orientation on things that work here in Spain, how things work. We can even help candidates get in their NIE, their social security number. I mean, all the paperwork that they need. So that could be a good advice. I mean, it's probably it works the same way in every country, but as we know here in Spain, it can be tricky somehow. So it's good to count on good professionals for that.
Yeah.
And we will leave the links to your company below in this video, and maybe to your social LinkedIn accounts, if you would agree.
Of course.
Absolutely. I would like to add something important to consider here in Spain. Maybe is something from the Southern Europe, but here discussing about money can be a bit tricky, you know. People don't usually like to talk about money a lot, and if you go to the north of Europe, it's something that is more normalized, and it's very important when you are establishing a working relationship. It's something that you really have to discuss. So if you come here, consider that having those conversations is something that it takes a bit of touch.
Yeah.
That is a nice point.
Yeah.
Nice to know. Thank you very much. I don't have any more questions. I think it was and will be very interesting for everyone who will be watching this video. And have a nice day.
Thank you very much, and have a nice day, you too.
Thank you, Marina, for having us. Bye-bye.
You. Bye-bye.